Have you ever thought of adding coaching to your practice? Are you thinking, maybe I should add coaching to my practice? Maybe I should coach people. 10 benefits of adding coaching to your practice. I've been really looking forward to this today because my goal for you is to have more impact, more profit, more time, and learning different ways to make money, learning different ways to, bring in revenue. Now, for those of you who already are coaches, in case you're watching this, listen to it because you will hear some of the benefits that you can actually use to pitch yourself if you wanted to find therapists or, people in the acupuncture, like other health professionals to collaborate or to use as referral sources. Or maybe, you just want to align yourself with a certain type of private practices those already out there and you collaborate. So listen to this. I'm going to do another training completely on how coaches can, quote, pitch practices. But today we're going to really focus on 10 benefits of adding coaching to your practice. Get ready, take some notes. One of the very first things is being able to have a bigger impact. When we add to our businesses, and we expand, we have a greater reach. We are able to help more people, make a difference, make a bigger impact. And part of adding coaching to your practice is you have a different business model. And that business model gives you a bigger variety of freedom in how you're running your business and et cetera. And of course, all those things we're going to be talking about. But number one, really, I want you to think about is having a bigger impact. Number two is, frankly, you're going to make more money. Okay, let's get real. First of all, coaching is a $2 billion a year and growing industry. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world today. But I know what you're thinking, and I get it. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. So for those of you who are coaches out there, because, I'm a certified coach in addition to I was a clinical social worker. I've got my bachelor's and master's in another degree, all of these things. So here, really the intention of what I'm saying is I get that on one level, we have worked hard for our degrees, and the thought of coaching may still carry a stigma for you. I know it did for me for a while. Sorry, I know this light is bothersome. I know it did for me for a while. And some of my colleagues that are coaches, but also still licensed practitioners, they, it's kind of one of those things. And this is why, because sometimes people are like, oh my God, I became a life coach this weekend. And now they're trying to tell people how to live their life and how to run their life. And you're thinking, holy crap, you better be careful because you never know what's going to come up, what you're going to dig up. And I've seen that. I've seen where, newbie coaches or people with no real clear understanding of actually even what they're asking can create problems, or they can put themselves in a position that they're not able to handle maybe the stress that the client is under, maybe a trauma that has come up, maybe that there's some real pathology there. And then they're like, oh my God. And so for those of you who are coaches, this is actually another benefit for you to align yourself with somebody in the mental health profession. And then for those of you who are massage therapists, we're going to get to that and, other types of therapy. Okay. So frankly, you're going to make more money. I mean, some of the coaches, and depending on what type of coaching you offer, make a ton of money. They can make a small fortune where you're thinking like, if I break six figures, if I get to $250,000 a year in my private practice as a therapist, I'll be thrilled. But you know what that's going to take. You're going to have a big pool of people. You're going to have to truly have leveraged your time. You're going to have a group practice, and you can still kind of have that group practice with adding coaching, because either you do some coaching and so your rates will go up, or you bring on some coaches. And of course, you can take a percentage of what they're selling, right? Or they're bringing in their revenue stream. There's so many advantages. Okay. So make more money. You can also sell programs. Like if you're a coach, and I'm going to give you some examples here in a minute, but when you're a coach and you develop a program, you can just have that automated. You can create a webinar for that. And I know all this sounds like a webinar and automation and marketing. Do you want to make money? Do you want to be a business? Let me tell you, when you create a webinar and you just have that flowing and have it automated and Facebook ads are running traffic to it, you've done the work once. It's not this constant exchanging an hour for $100, an hour for $200, an hour for $300, whatever. You're getting out of that cycle, which can be a little stressful. Let's get real. Sometimes we might think we've plateaued, we're stuck. How much more money can we make? What are your other options to break through to the next level of revenue? Coaching is definitely one of those things. Products, programs, etc. Freedom on how you work with clients. This is one of the things that I personally just love. So my time is my own, right? I get to choose my schedule. So you might think as a private practice owner, and whatever kind of practice that is, right? Whether it's acupuncture, massage therapy, psychotherapy, whatever kind of practice that you have freedom. Or you have freedom to a point. You have freedom to a point. Because maybe the population of people that you're currently serving, they can only be seen during a certain type of hours. Well, with coaching, because you have more of an impact and you have a wider pool of potential clients, you can establish your schedule maybe just a little bit differently. Okay. But also not just that, it's how you work with people. So one of the reasons I decided to get into coaching is because what I found is having just an hour very first session with people and then 8 sessions, 10 sessions, whatever, didn't necessarily allow me to do the work that I believed that they needed. What I do with my clients is I love getting into a VIP date right off the bat. And what that looks like is we spend 5 or 6 hours and we're just in it, how to build their business, how to have these breakthroughs, how to have money breakthroughs, mindset, all of these breakthroughs can happen. And then from there, other work can go along. But if I was just seeing them 1 hour at a time for 90 days or 6 months or whatever, it's a different progression. I'm all about get in there and let's get it done. So you can, you're not restricted by your state or your licensing as far as, or insurance on how you're getting paid, how you're structuring your time. And of course, you're location independent. Hello. Who doesn't like to go on vacation? What if you went on vacation, or what if you did a talk somewhere? Because that's one of the other benefits is your marketing is a little different. What if you specialized in something and then you gave a talk in Hawaii and you were able to write some of that time off, but you were able to also, still see a client or two, or maybe they flew in to Hawaii to have a VIP day with you. Okay. Open your thinking. There's so many possibilities for you. So let's talk about leverage. Really, this is part of the key as far as helping you break through a plateau, helping you break through to the next revenue level, is when you hire coaches into your practice that have a variety of specialties. So let me give you a couple examples. Let's say you specialize in postpartum depression. Well, maybe you developed actually a holistic practice or a complete practice that might have a nutritionist there to help with a nutrition coach, to help with, during the pregnancy. You could also have a birthing coach. You could have a life balance coach after that. As you are helping somebody move through the postpartum depression, and then incorporate maybe some other coaching that touches on other areas of their life that they still need support in, that as a psychotherapist, you may not be fully touching on. What about if you're a massage therapist and you just specialize in pain? You're working those people and all that pain management. What if you brought life coaches in? What if you brought other people in who their coaching really helps focus on the mind part of pain management? So not only are you being more supportive, and this is part of the reason to bring coaching in. And those of you who are listening who are coaches, this is one of the benefits, right? To pitch is that, you're helping a client completely. Maybe you can develop your practice all around mind, body, spirit, and you can bring in people to support. So you're really being a bigger part, if you will, of that person's life, that person's actualization, that person's growth. On that point, increase modalities. So when you are, as a cognitive behaviorist, as I was trained, what we think about, we bring about. Of course, I bring that to the table as a coach and as a business strategist. And so there's a bigger variety of modalities that you might bring in that you have learned, and not just one thing, For example, I went to see a Jungian analyst. And part of the reason I did, to tell you the truth, is because, a therapist, it's hard to be coached and go into therapy because I know what you're doing. So I went to this analyst because she really focused on dreams, and I was just having like the worst nightmares. And so, that was her core specialty. So for her to be able to bring in other people who specialize in other coaching areas, it just makes for a more robust experience. You're working with higher functioning people typically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're on number 6, higher functioning clients. There's not the pathology that's involved, right? So if you are working with somebody who's bipolar, that's completely different than working with someone who is 45 and going through, some midlife issue, going through a divorce. Now, granted, I loved, having clients who had significant mental health issues, but it's a different. Working with higher functioning people is frankly not as taxing sometimes, right? Emotionally. And what if you just used, half the time, let's just say you did specialize in bipolar, half the time you work with people with bipolar and then half the time you worked something else. Just your burnout rate is significantly less. Although I agree you must specialize, right? This is not about not specializing. You have a different connection with your clients. Now, I don't know about you, but, as a therapist, someone may never even know that I was married, short of, wearing a ring. There's no connection. And there's lots of reasons for having a very significant boundary. 100%. In the coaching world, there's a difference. There is, I don't want to say a lessening of a boundary, but the boundary is a little bit of a different place. So with me, if I'm working with somebody and I'm helping them build their business and I'm talking about having some kind of breakthrough in worth and value of oneself so that they can establish what their rates are, I can give my own point of reference, my own personal experience. Whereas as a therapist, I never talked about my personal life ever. And not that I'm sharing every detail with clients, but there's just a different kind of connection that you can have with people. And I personally like that. Also, when I was working in geriatric field, you never talked about spirituality. Never. I'm working with people who are dying. Never talked about, are you going to go to heaven? What are your thoughts about this? And so you have just a different ability to have a connection with people. And some people like that, some people don't. Various marketing opportunities. You have a huge variety. So back to that speaking. Okay. So let's play this out. You are speaking at an organization. So you want to add life coaching to your private practice, your therapy private practice, because you want to help people with life balance, work-life balance, and transitioning from being a corporate person to, mom. And in your private practice, you may be working with people who are depressed because they hate their life. And so, they're a little different. When you're standing up in front of an organization talking about work-life balance as a coach, it's different than standing up as the therapist. People are not going to be running up to you afterwards going, oh my God, I have life balance, work-life balance is because they're talking to a therapist, and then you're in a room and everybody's like, oh my God, they're talking to the therapist, as opposed to, touching on something that we all can relate to, work-life balance. And, why don't you come up afterwards, chat with me, let me connect with you. I want to get to know you a little bit better. It removes the barrier for some of that connection. And that's big. It removes the barrier. And some people don't want to remove the barrier. So let me tell you, you might not want to remove the barrier. So obviously you wouldn't be in 15 minutes into this discussion. Ready? Zero insurance. Cash. Hello. What a huge difference in income potential. For example, let's say that you were doing some type of coaching and you created what we call a mastermind. And you saw 10 people, twice a week, online, on Zoom, on Skype, something like that. They're each paying you $1,000 each. That's $10,000 a month that you're putting in 4 or 5 more hours. So they're paying ahead of time too, by the way. There's no right there when they're in the office, they're writing it. There's none of that. Everything, of course, one of the things I teach is really having systems in your business and in your practice. And it's all that is automated. You can set up automated so that you can really know what your income is coming in. There isn't a surprise if some patient decides to quit, some client decides to quit. That's a whole nother area. And I do have an agreement. It's on my website. I can't recall the name of it right now. I will look for it and put a link with this video and to give you an example of what a coaching agreement looks like. Because it's very clear, this is coaching, this is not mental health. And lastly, number 10, one of the things that I personally love about coaching and business strategy is having an end date, right? So I can work with people and there's a goal and we have an end date. And it's a clean end date, if you will. Because sometimes when you're in private practice, there's obviously an ethical issue when you want to break that contract or discontinue providing services or even refer out to another practitioner. And so with coaching or as a business strategist like myself, I can work in 90-day chunks with people or 6-month chunks with people. And we have something we're working toward. Right? Because we're also when we're working with people with coaching, we're forward focused typically. Now, I'm not saying I don't do any mindset stuff where we look at your mom said people with money, are horrible and we need to work through some of your money mindset stuff. But it's not really focused on the past. Now, I know there's plenty of therapists that are like, I focus on the future. I'm just kind of being general here. So those are just 10 of the benefits of adding coaching to your practice. And for those of you who are coaches, I will be coming out with a training on how to pitch your coaching services to people in private practice or, other practitioners, because you can use some of these examples today I gave you, but there's a little other nuance. And of course, there's a little bit of that sales conversation that goes along with it. And things that you need to think about, like what would you be willing to, if you were renting someone's office and you saw clients and you were charging $250 an hour and you were using their space, would you just be renting the office space? Would you be giving them a portion of your fee? So there's a few little ideas that I have for you. So keep a lookout for that training. And this is Mary Bicknell. And I realized I didn't even say who I was. Mary Bicknell. I work with women who are plateaued, who are stuck in their practices, and who are really ready to make an impact. I mean, they want to reach a lot of people. They want to make a profit. Hello, you want to make money. You're in business, not just to help people, but to help yourself and your family. And of course, for me, the number one thing is it's all about time freedom. I believe that we own our own businesses because we don't want to work for Joe Bob who's telling us what to do. And I'm here to help you with that. So here's Mary Bicknell. Until next time. And I will put a worksheet in this link below so that you can, it will help you kind of jog your thinking around what are some of the benefits to my practice, right? What are some of the benefits to your practice and adding coaches? I will ask you some questions that will allow you to see whether it will be a benefit or how it could be a benefit and how you could actually profit from adding coaching, meaning doing the coaching yourself, or adding coaches into your practice. It's so exciting. This is Mary Bicknell, and I will see you soon. Bye.